Hello. So you can hear me. So see from the picture, it's a Halloween sort of a creepy thing, but this is like real world. Should talk louder. Enunciate. This is real world spooky shit, like conspiracy, but it's conspiracy if it's not true, but I don't know. I think I'm in on it. I believe it. So we're talking about the Vatican, and look at that picture there. I'll make it so you can see it. Clearly. Like that's no mistaking. That's two eyes. Two. I mean, the pillars are like fangs sticking down there. It's a snake's head. It's in Vatican's chapel. Behind them, um, I should put this up here real quick so you can see it. You see that there? That's a statue behind him. It's like they said it was for the Holocaust, but it looks like demons leaving hell. If you look closer too, look at your your yeah, right there. So you see that? That's the side view of the head. Like it's a fucking lizard head. Like it's facing forward. It's a maybe Jesus or something. I don't know. The side view is definitely a snake, lizard. That like right in shove in your face. You know we're evil. What are you gonna do about it? That's the arrogance these fuckers have. So I'm gonna paint this, some uh, act of protest, and to bring awareness of their wicked ways.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is the Cult of Conspiracy, and my name's Jonathan.
I'm Jacob.
And today we have an awesome guest. We're going to be talking about the deep dives of everything that goes on within the Vatican and what's beneath it. What's really going on in the Vatican? There's been so many conspiracies, there's been so many thoughts, so many pictures, so many theories. Stu, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's awesome to be here.
Absolutely,
Oh,
man.
of course, dude. Of course.
So, to all the cult members out there that don't know, Stu is a friend of the show. Okay. And he decided on his own free will, and we'll get into why he got a fire under his ass to do some research into the Vatican itself.
the best reason to do it, I believe.
I mean, that's definitely an arguing point, bro,
Yeah.
for sure. But he did his own deep dive in a week's time, and this is all of what he found. And I wanted to bring that up specifically because this isn't like some sort of insider knowledge that only we know because we're like in the inner circles of. No, not at all. This is a Google search away. That's why we always tell people to do their own research. So with that being said, Stu has got a mountain of information to share with us. Some things you may know, some things you may not know, but we're going to do a deep dive on all of it. Stu, talk to us, bro.
Yeah. Well, I figure I touch on a couple like basic, the history, heritage of the Vatican, and even for people who don't know what it is, just kind of give a bit of understanding on that, and maybe I can bring some information on. I guess if somebody's more educated on the Vatican and they know a lot about it, hopefully I can teach them something too with this.
Okay, excellent.
Oh, dude, I feel like there's so many angles to this.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way one person could ever possibly cover it all. But, dude, I mean, the conspiracies about it are fucking awesome. And I love hearing about Vatican conspiracies.
You'll have that anytime you have anything that's secret. Anything that's shrouded in secret it is like immediately within human beings to seek it out and be like, ooh, what are they doing? It's got to be bad, or otherwise they'd be loud and proud about it.
Because there's some secret brotherhood shit going on over there. Now, is it the Illuminati? Is it the Freemasons? I don't know the rest of them. You do?
I do.
Is it name your secret club, your secret clan, I should say.
Sure.
And I mean, dude,
They
we
somehow
don't-
have ties to the Vatican or are in direct opposition of the Vatican. It's always the Vatican.
And why is there a cellar and tunnels beneath the Vatican? Why?
Well, for multiple reasons, my guy.
Oh, I know, and Stu's gonna fucking send us right there, baby. So let's hear
Let's
what
talk
you
about
got
it, man.
there, Stu. I wanna know everything. I'm so curious about this.
All right. Well, yeah. So it became its own country in 1929, and it's inside the city of Rome.
Yeah.
As of July 1st this year, it has a population of 799. You
That's
need
not
to
that many.
work there.
Well,
Yeah, you
it's
need
the
to
building
work there
itself.
in order to be a citizen.
The city itself, the Vatican City, is
Just the Vatican.
just the Vatican, and it is its own separate country,
oh goddamn.
run
Yes,
by the
it's
Pope
its own country.
in a true religious monarchy,
Wow.
like in the highest form,
Imagine,
and in pretty much the most ancient form of the Western world.
imagine your house being a whole country.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They have another one of those in
It's-
Nevada.
Really.
Yeah, some guy pretty much separated his land from all of America and claims it's an autonomous country.
I've heard of properties like
He
that.
set up his entire house to be a tourist trap. There's like a dummy as the security guard, and like there's like money that he prints out that you like, exchange to buy shit in his front yard. It's-
Savage.
Yeah, I mean, A for effort there, homie.
Hey.
But
hey for
anyway,
me.
so yeah, the Vatican is in fact its own separate country. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's officially the smallest in the world. It's 49 hectares. That's 121 acres, according to Wikipedia.
Yep.
The official languages, Italian and Latin.
Yep.
It has the highest crime rate by far among any country in the world, mainly because of tourism. There's lots of pickpockets, prostitution, and all petty crime. Save the big crime for the actual priests and Pope and stuff.
Right.
Probably loads of undocumented criminal
Well, think about it. There's
activity.
only, he said 799. There's 800 people in this country. You realize if
Yeah.
10 people do something wrong,
That's a high percentage.
that is a massive percentage
yeah,
per
yeah.
capita.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Ah.
yeah, they have the highest crime rate in the world.
Okay.
One dude stole something. A massive chunk of the population just stole something.
For
you know?
sure. Okay, I see that. All right. I didn't catch on
Yeah,
to that.
yeah. That's
Keep in
it.
mind like what the murder rate in Chicago was last year.
Chirac.
Right, exactly. And then think
Yeah.
about like, okay, pretty much the entire country of the Vatican would have been killed in Chicago in that same year. You know what I mean? But anyway,
This is true.
So because they're their own country, they're allowed to print their own money, and they do. They don't have any taxes, so everything you buy there is duty free.
that's it.
I figure maybe we get into the Swiss Guard a little bit because that is, the army of the Vatican.
Bro, I'm so
Um,
glad you brought up the Swiss Guard. I am such a fan of the Swiss Guard for the historical reasons behind it. And today their uniforms are, I'm talking just pimp nasty.
Are they?
Oh, bro, you never seen the Swiss
I
Guard
don't- I
uniform?
don't think so.
Oh,
They're,
man.
Actually, let's pull it up.
Pull it up because it is, ooh, the drip. Nothing stops the drip on the Pope Guard, dog.
Yeah, that's known as the gala uniform.
Yeah, that's for their ceremonial dress. It's not like what they, well, I mean, you got the guys at the gate that wear that every day, but that's because they are the ceremonial gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying? Same thing as the guys with the funny hats in Britain, the guard.
Yeah.
That's not their everyday wear, but for them it is because they're ceremonial. But
ceremonial.
there is
yeah.
also Swiss guards within the Vatican. They're dressed in suit and tie and have like some of the most nasty Uzis ever under their fucking lapels.
Oh, I'm sure, dude.
But anyway, go ahead.
So only the best and the brightest are chosen for the Swiss Guard. You need to be endorsed by your hometown parish priest. You need to go through basic training in Switzerland.
Mhm.
So once you get in, you get blessed by the Pope himself. So if anyone was to go to the Vatican for travel or whatever, you are allowed to approach and talk to them at certain times. If they're standing facing the people with their hands folded, you approach and ask nicely. You can take a picture with them, ask them some questions, whatever. But if they're standing at attention with the halberd, yeah, you don't really want to go and talk to them. So
The halbert's one of my favorite weapons
What?
to use, bro.
What is that?
It's a massive axe pike.
Jesus.
Oh, it's a pretty nasty looking weapon. Anyway, go ahead.
Gnarly.
no, that's okay. When they do suit up in armor, some of the armor is still the original armor sets.
That is
It's
sick.
just been refurbished. Yeah, it's pretty awesome actually. I thought that was cool.
And I mean, that's got to just be that way to have a guy to fit it. You know what I mean? Because the armor is not something that you could like grow into. It's your size, your size. So I guess it got like this
Yeah.
old chest plate from circa 1300 AD. You know what I mean? And it's the same size. All they just did was buff off the rust and throw it on a guy of the exact same stature. Absolutely.
Well, dude, most things that are
Yeah.
ritualistic tend to be of traditional nature.
Oh, and there's nothing more traditional than the Swiss Guard, man.
Yes. Yes.
And they need to be at least 174 centimeters. That's 5'8". So this is how they can find guys to fit that. 19 to 30 years old as well. So I guess you retire at 30.
Mm.
And that's kind of about all I researched on them there. I didn't want to dig too deeply. There's not really any conspiracies on them.
No, there's not. But for all of our listeners, there are also history buffs. Go look up the last stand of the Swiss Guard. There was a time when Rome was sacked and the Vatican City was sacked. And basically you had, I want to say it was like 22 Swiss Guard that held up a final stand so the Pope was able to escape in safety. It is a pretty heroic story. So if any of y'all are history buffs, check that one out. So
Heard.
back to the Vatican. All right. So Swiss Guard, cool group.
Yeah. So then a little bit of heritage about the Vatican. There's St. Peter's Basilica. There's the Sistine Chapel. That's where you can see all the naked people.
Right.
The necropolis, the library, which is right next to the Vatican secret archives. So you can't mistake them, but they are similar. They also have the museum. There's only one entrance, and you don't need a passport to get in. They have one courthouse with one priest as the judge. He's, I think, there like once in a while, so they don't have too many court cases. And so now to get into what the Vatican is exactly, it's kind of confusing actually. I had to dig a little bit on this because it's under the pretense of the Holy See, and as like see with your eyes, like SEE.
Oh,
right?
shit.
So yeah, it's this is how they can really dodge things and get out of the way, because it's three things in one. And so you can say like, oh, well, you're trying to go after the Pope. Well, he's the Holy See, but all of the baptized Catholics, I guess I would be included in this. We are part of the Holy See. There's 1.32 billion of us currently in this world, and we are the Holy See. The Vatican itself, the continent, right? The country, sorry, is also the Holy See, a sovereign nation, right? And the Pope himself is under the pretense of the Holy See.
What does
So
that
all three of
mean?
them.
Like,
sorry.
what does that mean to be a C? I don't like.
That one I-
How could you be a holy C? I was thinking.
I don't know.
See, because out, over here, how they get away with a lot of taxation and fucking, birth certificate and all that is they say that we're actually, like, if you look into Black's Law Dictionary, that it has us as we're technically sea monsters at sea.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was thinking the sea, but
No, but I think C. All right, I could be completely wrong. If any of our listeners speak Italian or Latin, or if any of you are in Italy or the Vatican City and are listening, please hit us in the comments and tell us what this is about. But I'm wondering if it's like the local, like we have LLC or incorporated, or if for churches they have a RO, which is like religious organization or something. It's like a moniker to not necessarily for licensing, but I mean, guess in this case, LLC would be for licensing, but it's more or less how they're listed. You know what I mean?
I was
and I don't know if
thinking-
C is an acronym. I don't know if that's a Latin word that means something. Maybe that's how it's been written since 1200,
maybe.
and that's just kind of what it is. I don't know. That's definitely something to look into.
Well, I was thinking, because the Catholic Church was pretty much running shit for a while. You know what I'm saying?
The better part of written history.
It was the government. It was the government before government.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
so
say medieval ages onward, yeah.
sure. And so the way I look at it is like, if they got all these people coming in there for confessionals, you think that like you're literally, they believe that God speaks to the Pope, and the Pope's like HNIC, and like, I don't know, dude. I feel like I would be, if I was the Pope, I would be considered a C because I see it all.
I mean, that
I
can
don't know.
very well be what it's meant to be.
I could be very off.
I don't know.
Also, that's just my stupid mind.
But anyway, all right. So that's weird. But next topic, let's roll.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So as I mentioned before, in 1929 they became their own nation, right? And that's when they became the sovereign entity of international law. That's the Holy See there as the country. So one of the first things they did with their sovereignty was to help the Nazis.
Yes.
It was after the war, of course, because they knew that during the Holocaust, the Nazis had seized much of the Jewish families, properties, gold, valuables, art, whatever.
Yeah, the Catholic
So-
Church hasn't exactly been kind to the Jews throughout human history either. I'm gonna be honest.
Crazy.
No, not at all. They blame them for a lot of
A
things.
lot of things. Yeah. So anyway, so the first thing they did,
yeah.
they helped Nazis that were trying to get out of Europe, escape war criminals, war councils.
Yes, war crimes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, they helped them escape that. In the process, they just kind of collected all of the valuables and everything that the Nazis had seized and didn't return them. Obviously, they profited off of everything. So their bank has been involved with multiple scandals, since I guess they technically don't have a bank, but they do, where they store all of their gold and valuables and everything. And they've used that lots to help the mob and mafia smuggle their money or other, let's say, high-ranking officials and high-ranking businessmen, smuggle their money through.
Absolutely, man. You
one
look
of
at
the more-
Godfather
yeah.
3.
How do you think these how do you think
Yeah.
this Vatican came up on such gold?
Well-
I mean, if we're thinking that it's actual like super wealth,
Well, it's more like long-term generational wealth. Okay, so keep
Okay.
this in mind. The Catholic Church was founded. There's a lot of arguments that Peter was the first pope. So technically, the Catholic Church started as soon as Christ died. Fine. The Council of Nicaea and actually you could say Emperor Constantine, right, was the actual founding of the Catholic Church as we know it today, right? So since then, they have been collecting a tenth of every single member's earnings since that
That's
day
amazing.
snap.
to now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's quite a bit.
So we're talking about, you had to pay your taxes to your king, but you'll be damned, actually literally damned, if you don't pay the church.
I was under the impression that Peter was robbed to pay Paul.
Jesus, that's an expression.
All right,
That's
all
not
right,
a
all right.
biblical story.
Stupid pun. That was a dad pun. That was a
Anyway.
dad pun.
Anyway, my point is though, when we're
Yeah.
talking about how the Catholic Church got so wealthy, not only have they been taking the money of their people since their founding, but then you also talk about how many crusades were launched at the behest of the Catholic Church. You talk about how many kings have gotten funding and had to pay back with interest the Pope, right?
Mhm.
You talk about organizations that pay the Pope, just like we're talking about the Jesuits have their own things, the Martyrdom. It's essentially a following of Mary more than anything.
Okay.
But anyway, you know what I'm saying? You have all these different groups that consistently give and give and give because they believe that it is their duty as good Catholics to give.
Mhm.
So the Vatican's just got money coming in consistently since their inception.
It's a long time.
Oh yeah. Not to mention how much shit got robbed.
Oh, dude.
Oh, right.
You think so?
Oh my, think about this. And this has also been confirmed by multiple sources. I'm sure you stumbled upon this. You're talking about how they essentially helped the Nazis get out and they kept the Nazis' possessions, right? Which all the stuff the Nazis had was, think about this, artwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like massive sculptures that were taken out of a French cathedral somewhere, right? Some historical art pieces that Michelangelo made and shit like that.
Okay.
The Catholic Church pretty much held their possessions and then sent them on their merry way to Argentina and then said, well, this is a really nice statue that's mine now. Right. And they did
Mhm.
this with all the high ranking Nazis. There's been insane amounts of shit like that happen throughout the years. You could look back all the way to the Vikings being raided, right?
Mm.
Look at where did the Vikings raid? They raided the Catholic churches during Mass because they knew the entire town would be centered at one spot.
Mhm.
And they knew that that's where all the precious gold and gems were.
Heathens.
But my point is, the Catholic Church has never been short on some spare change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure they haven't. I'm sure Stu's about to
No.
just get right down to the bare bones of this. Dude.
Well, yeah, I guess speaking on never being short on spare change, I didn't want to go too much into the whole pedophilia thing because you could probably do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, I'm sure we
But,
actually probably have sometime in the past.
I'm sure
Since the early 2000s, there's been about 400,000 cases that they've covered up using the tithing, the donations that they've gotten. So they've used that money to then silence the little boys and girls that they've, touched.
Wow.
400,000.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude! Literally.
All
Yeah,
paid
since
off
the
by
early
tithing.
2000s.
Since
the early 2000s.
Jesus. So we're talking a estimated 20 years. There's been 400,000 confirmed people getting paid off by tithe dollars.
hmm
Is the church nothing but a bunch of satanic pedophiles? I mean, that's
And I can tell you that it's not.
you could argue that.
I can promise you that it's not. But I mean, it's also, you can't negate the fact that all right, you have pedophilia at all places among society.
Sure.
Granted, fine. But holy shit, it's all
400,000.
concentrated here. You know
are
what
we
I'm
talking
saying?
about the Catholic Church as a whole or the Vatican specifically?
No, the Catholic Church as
Yeah.
a whole since then.
Still,
Yeah.
We're talking about the
still.
entire
And
world.
we're talking billions and billions of dollars they spent.
Right.
Wow.
But we're also talking about how many Catholic churches are there on earth. You know what I'm saying?
so many. There's
And
one
I'm
right
not-
across the street from me.
I am not trying to detract from the seriousness of this, but I'm also going to give everything its fair shake. There's millions of Catholic churches across the globe.
Mm.
And of those, there's been 400,000 confirmed cases of tithe dollars paying off people. I'm not saying like, oh, that's not a bad statistic. No, that's still like a super high concentration, and they all have one thing in common, and that's really something that needs to be addressed.
That's just in 20-something years, dude.
That's 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, go ahead.
Anyway,
Stu.
sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You guys are doing good. So yeah, I
Thank you.
didn't want to touch too much onto that. So we'll slide on by into the necropolis now because that's actually a pretty good place to go.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as the Scabby, SCABI. So it's about 5 to 12 meters below, right? That's the St. Peter's Basilica. Sorry, so it's below that. Up to 200 people a day are allowed to go, no more than groups of 12. It was actually discovered by accident during excavation in the 1940s. So that it was under there. It was under there from the 1st century to the 5th century of this common era. So like that's when people were starting to be buried and whatnot below there. So I mentioned to you guys earlier, you're not allowed in all of the rooms. There's only certain ones that people are allowed to go in. So there's a couple rumors about what's in the ones you're not allowed to go into. I managed to find a story. It goes one of two ways. Either it's an employee or a tourist managed to stumble into one room with a horned skull. This is rumored to be like the skull of Satan, potentially. This it's not confirmed, but there's also an image of Lucifer down there.
But talking about like a horned skull, though, I actually just recently read an article. There was a certain tribe, I want to say it was like in the uppermost North America, where they found a tribe of like Native Americans, ancient Native Americans, that actually had horns protruding from their skulls.
Yes, I've seen this.
Dude, that was wild.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was like full antlers or if it was bull horns, because it's all like broken up and fragmented skulls and shit.
Yeah.
But that's pretty crazy. A whole tribe of humanoid people with horns out of their heads in the same fashion that people have drawn demons since we first heard of them.
It looked just like the Daredevil mask.
It looked like Hellboy.
Hellboy. Even.
Yeah,
yes, Yes.
So, all right, who knows? Maybe they got one of those skulls and they're kind of keeping that a little hushed.
Dude, there's so much shit that is like hidden from us because they want, the powers that be want the world to seem like as quote unquote as normal as possible.
Right, of
If
course.
we were to ever find out about real giants or real demons or real fucking,
Which
I don't
the
know,
evidence is everywhere for.
it is,
Yeah.
trolls and whatnot.
Of course, why
I mean,
not?
I believe in mermaids personally. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, sirens they're called. But all these mythological creatures, whether they exist or have at some point existed,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really throw anything out. I believe in Bigfoot all the way. I don't know about invisible Bigfoot. Not sure about that one.
Eh.
But Bigfoot, yeah,
Yeah,
Bigfoot for sure.
I hear you.
There
I
has
do.
to be. I mean, dude, somebody the size of like Kevin Garnett or Shaq,
Mhm.
you know, like just hairy.
Right.
That's all it would be.
Why not? But yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, though, there's all kinds of evidence for that. So, I mean, think about this, and I don't know why the scenario just played out in my head, but all right. So let's say you're one of the upper archbishops, or maybe a cardinal. You're up in the Vatican doing your good Catholic shit as you do.
As we do.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And some traveler from across the sea comes and says they found this skull. Right.
Yeah.
You would keep that so fucking quiet. You would lock it in a vault in the bottom of the Vatican to where nobody could see.
It's the same reason they've been dragging their feet on telling us about aliens, bro.
Exactly.
They don't want to alarm the public.
Even though there's tons of evidence for it and all that, it's like, nope, we're not even gonna make the people scared right now. We're gonna keep that quiet.
And then, of course, there's the argument of are aliens demons? And I guess I don't know.
You
I
know-
don't believe they are personally.
It was a crazy experience whenever I first looked into that as a theory.
Yeah,
Cause all right,
fallen angels.
do you believe in aliens? Well, no, but I believe in demons. Oh, okay. That has nothing to do with the other. And then
They're saying that they're one and the same.
right. I
Yeah.
remember thinking, I was like, why was that your response?
Yeah.
That's like, oh, do you want a Dr. Pepper? No, but I'll have some lettuce. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
Why
yeah.
did you just answer me like that?
Yeah.
Then they explained that they believe that what we call aliens is interdimensional demons that are projecting themselves in alien form and this and this. I'm like, okay, not that I disagree with you because I could see the plausibility, but why can't there be aliens and demons?
I don't know, dude.
Why does that got to be one and the same? And
I just got done watching the new season of Stranger Things,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Would you call those aliens? Would you call them demons?
I would
mean,
call
they
that a
opened up.
TV show.
That's the upside down, bro. That's what happened. Also, if anybody didn't know this, Stranger Things is a story, like a real life story, built based upon the Philadelphia experiment.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah. We'll do a whole episode on that.
Hell yeah, we need to.
Eventually, soon. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, going on that tangent. So we got crazy shit in the catacombs of the Vatican.
Yeah. Yeah, you got like lots of pagan, I guess Christians and Catholics would say false idols. They got
Sure.
that in all their rooms down there, and even rumors of an elongated skull.
Let's
Th-
go.
But there's also evidence of elongated skulls from Mesoamerica, right? Like the Mayans and the Aztecs, they used to strap boards to their babies' heads to make it grow elongated because they felt like that's what gods looked like.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Really?
There's tons. Yeah, dude. There's skulls all throughout. I want to say it was the Mayans and the Incans. I think the Aztecs were involved with that too, but I know it definitely predated them as far as like a practice goes.
Is that like based upon like Egyptian stuff?
No, dude. We're talking like ancient Honduras and Ecuador and shit like that. Like we're talking like the middle of Central America.
Yeah.
They never heard of those people. You know what I'm saying? This
Egyptians,
was
yeah.
their gods. This was I used to know some of their gods' names. I'm sorry that I'm slacking right now. But yeah, that was what they used to do. So same thing, same concept, right? Some dude comes
Crazy.
back on the, Cortez brings back this skull and brings it to the church like, yo, look what they're doing. Oh my God, it's an alien. They just bring it to the catacombs. We're not even gonna play this game.
Fucking Vatican is hiding aliens from us, dude.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, sorry, Stu. Go right ahead, man.
No, that's okay. Speaking of aliens and predating things, so the hat that the Pope wears, it's all weird and kind of fish looking like.
Yeah.
Apparently that's like predated Christianity by about 2,500 years, and it's some kind of a fish man god or whatever.
Yes.
And one day that fish man god will come back. And that's why they're so they have so many observatories. Like they have the Lucifer close to you guys. Actually, it's in Arizona. They have the Lucifer Observatory. It's a binocular one, one.
Yeah.
So like they're looking for something out there, you know, like if they say God is within us, and you know God isn't like, you know, physical kind of thing, then why are they looking out for other things, right? So I look forward to how they try and spin that aliens are a part of religion and everything. I look forward to that.
No doubt. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were talking about the hat looking like a fish.
Yes.
I want to say
Yes.
that was a druid thing, because if you look at ancient Ireland mythology, there's not much of it because it was such a small cult of people, and then that got Christianized and completely taken weird ways. But what we do know about it is, for some reason, like, dudes turning into salmons was like a reoccurring theme. Like, the foundation of Ireland, homeboy was with 40 women and him by himself land on Ireland, and these 40 women drive him so fucking crazy he jumps into the water, becomes a salmon, and he swims for 50 years.
Swimming
He just became a fucking salmon and swam away. We don't know why. He just said, fuck y'all, I'm out.
up the sea against the current.
I guess, you know. But anyway, my point is, though, that in the Gaelic culture, fish turning into a salmon was like a big reoccurring theme for people that were also gods.
Mm.
So I want to say that big stove hat came from the Druids. I could be completely wrong on that, but I want to say I read that somewhere.
Damn. Well, I mean, then you got Jesus with the fish, the Jesus fish, right?
Which, that's the thing. He never one time drew a fucking fish in the sand.
But I think that goes to say that's for some
He, I mean,
some
yes, he
star
turned
shit.
the loaves and the fish, and he fed the people. Yes, but the little Jesus fish that everybody puts on their car, that is a completely made up symbol.
It's for the stars were in Aquarius or some shit, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, because we're in the age of Pisces.
That's what it was.
That's the fish.
That Pisces is the fish.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we're in the age of Pisces.
Yeah,
is
because
the,
that's a total thing. I
um,
don't know. I don't buy it personally, but you know, to each their own.
I love all that star shit, dude. I get
It's
down
a
with it.
fun read on my Facebook timeline. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
For
saying
sure.
I buy it. I'm saying it's at least interesting.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
to say the least.
Anyway, moving on.
So yeah, to other things with scales in the Vatican. You know, they have the Paul VI audience hall.
Yeah.
And it kind of actually, the outside, the top looks like scales on a snake. And if you look up at like the top or the front, sorry, where this Pope speaks, it looks kind of like a snake with fangs, you know, like a mouth open.
Absolutely.
Right. I believe I sent you those pictures earlier. If you want to put them up or put them in the notes after.
Sure. Yeah, we can get right to that. Look,
Boom.
right here already.
Yeah.
I must have already known.
So that's the Pope would speak right at the front there.
That is wild, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
and
how do
then-
you mistake that? That's a straight up snakehead.
Like, I mean,
Right.
yeah, you can make the argument. Well, that's with a fisheye lens where it bends out. It doesn't matter, man. That is
mean,
wild looking.
They shoot the Earth with a fisheye lens too. So,
Oh, right. Which see, there you go.
And
By
they
that
say-
logic,
but they also say that that has no effect. It would show the curvature anyway. I'm just saying, fisheye lenses have been caught in some controversy.
all I'm saying is a couple of weather balloons and a GoPro, and we could shut everybody up. But
Let's go,
whatever.
dude.
Anyway,
Let's go.
sorry, that was a flat Earth thing that we got on. We had
No, that's okay.
we had an episode. Anyway,
Do you want to show
remember.
the rest of the pictures there, Stu?
Yeah, show the one on the top where you can see the scales. Like, yeah. If you could zoom in a little bit, it definitely looks like,
Are those
you know,
solar
snake
panels?
scales up top.
are those solar panels?
I think so.
With our current pope, that actually would make perfect sense, that he would try to make the Vatican go as green as possible.
Well, he's bought out with the whole Green New Deal with the rest of the idiots.
That's my point. So I could totally see him taking this and making his solar panels. It does not help it look any less like a fucking snake, but you know.
Paris Climate Accord and whatnot.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I could see how that could look like scales, though, no doubt.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And for anybody that wants to see this, we are on Rockfin. You go to Rockfin. We'll have the link below. Dude, it's $10 a month. It's everything that was banned off of YouTube. It's the absolute banger on every single episode of every single person shit on there, because they don't just allow everybody on Rockfin, bro. Like,
Yeah,
as
no.
creators, we
We
had
had
to
to get invited there. That was pretty cool too.
Yeah, it was very ritualistic. I was down with it. We didn't sacrifice anybody, though.
No, not anybody anyway.
No. Anyway, so you want to go
That's
to
a
the
joke,
next?
people. Come on.
Yes.
I can already see the angry comments on that fucking statement.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I think most people are probably like okay with ritualistic nature these days, with Megan Fox and fucking Kelly, what's his name? Machine Gun Kelly.
That is so weird.
Why is he dressing like a bitch? I don't get that.
He's
No disrespect to all the cross dressers out there.
no. Here's what
but-
happened. He had a diss battle against Eminem and became what he is now. Okay,
Ah.
that's pretty much what happened when he was still a quote unquote rapper, and I say that super trepidatiously. He basically decided to go after your boy Marshall Mathers
And got murdered.
and got absolutely obliterated. Then tried clapping back, and then got like his career died.
He went on to pop music after that.
He went on to pop rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshit, dude.
That's what's happening now. And the sad part is he's probably gonna save the rock genre.
Oh, that's so sad.
I hate that. But you look at it, when's the last time you saw any kind of rock song in the top 40? Okay. And then
Dude, they took away all the rock stations though. All
They
except for
did.
the classic
they
rock.
completely phased it out. You have classic rock, which
Yeah.
has its fan base no matter what.
Sure.
You have metal, which has its fan base no matter what,
Always.
right? Throwing that out there.
Let's go.
But when it comes to like pop rock and shit like that, that's like current, there's not any in the top 40 aside from like maybe Blink 182 just let out a song or some shit like that.
yeah.
Or it's like more nostalgic shit. The sad, very sad truth of the matter is Machine Gun Kelly's probably going to save the pop rock genre single-handedly.
if he's in charge of saving it, it's not worth being saved.
I agree,
I hate to say that.
but I gotta give props where props are due. But anyway,
Anyhow.
super off topic to the Vatican.
All right. Do you want to look at this next picture, Stu?
Yeah, go ahead. Show the one with the Pope on the stage. Yeah, that's probably the creepiest one out of the three.
What,
So that's
they
when the
say
Pope
that's,
is giving speeches.
yeah, they say that's Jesus, right?
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, it's supposed to be him escaping from hell. But it looks like he's more being pulled down there, if you ask me.
Where's his beard?
It was
It's pretty creepy.
It was singed off in the depths of hell, sir.
Well, it was plucked before he was murdered, so.
They
I
plucked his beard before they murdered him?
Oh yeah, no, you thought they didn't just whip him and flog him and beat him and pretty much expose his guts. They also plucked his beard, and then
What do you mean plucked? Like tweezers?
like they yanked it from his face.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, no, Jesus endured torture that is unimaginable to think of, and
Shit.
then slowly suffocated on a cross in humiliation for the world. Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Crazy.
and had to
I didn't
carry
know
his
that.
cross to his death spot. Yeah, after they had beat him.
Wow.
Yeah, wild shit, man. And that's why we
So
accept that.
so this looks. You're saying that this looks like Jesus being dragged into hell?
I don't even see
Yeah.
it as Jesus.
It's
That
supposed
looks-
to be the inverse, though. But to me, it looks like he's being pulled in.
And aside from all that of what the artistic meaning behind it is, or what it's supposed to look like, that is a weird fucking statue to have behind the Pope when he's addressing his congregation.
Kind of looks like the Green Goblin a little bit
Bruh.
with the shaped head like that. Yeah, dude. And then you got like all these poor souls all standing around, and then you got like the Pope and his two people. What are they called?
Cardinals.
Cardinals. And they're just like sitting there like nothing's wrong, dude. It looks like you're in a scene of the fucking underworld. You know?
Yo,
It's
this
just
looks like
weird.
some shit from the movie Constantine.
Yeah.
your boy,
Keanu.
Yeah, with Keanu.
Yes, it does. It's very freaky.
That's fucking wild.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, dude. Why is that in the Vatican?
And for anybody who's listening and not watching, please take you a second and Google image the Pope's speaking hall, and then look up whatever picture it is with the sculpture behind him. It looks like this was Pope Benedict. So this is the one before our current.
The first quitter.
Yeah. Well, actually, historically speaking, he's the second quitter ever in the history of the Catholic Church.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It was wild too. He wasn't even in there for like 10 years, man.
No, it wasn't that long.
He couldn't even make a decade, and he was just like, you know what? I can't hang with y'all. This is too much. Do you know how many rape cases I have to fight every day? Like, I'm out this bitch.
He's like, yo, this adrenochrome just doesn't taste as good as I thought it would.
You know what? I want to do some quick math real quick. Hold on.
It's fucked up.
In 20 years, 400,000. I'm wondering how many that is per day.
Well, yeah,
Hold
check
on,
that
hold
out.
on, dude.
All right, so while you're doing that, we're going to check out the next picture. What is this of right here? Is this the Lucifer?
So, yeah, that's Lucifer there. We spoke on that earlier. So
The
you
Lucifer
can see how it's the
telescope.
binocular telescope. Yeah, there's two lenses.
Uh-huh.
And they're looking. I think one is near infrared, and then one is in closer to the ultraviolet spectrum. And you know, who knows what they're looking for? They both have to be cooled to 213 Celsius. That's 351 or sorry, negative 213, so negative 351 for you guys in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, we speak freedom here.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, not to detract from what you just said. Holy shit. That means that every single day in 20 years, every single day, the Vatican has paid off 54.7, let's just call that 55 different people every day
Dude.
have been paid off because of allegations of rape or pedophilia. Holy shit.
That's pretty crazy.
I mean, are we talking
Whoa.
about like who's doing the raping here?
It
Is
doesn't,
it
dude, doesn't even matter. The fact that the Vatican has to shell out money that many times a day for 20 years because of rape charges to tell people to shut up and go about their business rather than being public about it?
Oh my god.
They're well, two of their favorite ways. They have other favorite ways to do this too. Two of their favorite ways is to pay them out, and then the other one that I found even more fucked up is to tell them that if you tell on us, you're not going to heaven. Like basically condemning them to hell if they go and tell the authorities or whoever that I've been touched by priests, whatever.
I could totally see that being another scare tactic. You know what I'm saying? It's either greed or it's fear. That's the two main factors that drive human beings. So that makes sense.
The
to me.
fucking balls on these people to say this shit, dude.
Bro,
that pisses me off.
55 a day for 20 years have been paid by tithe dollars to shut up.
Wow, dude. Support for the Cult of Conspiracy is brought to you by Manscaped, who is best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code CULT at manscaped.com.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, if you've ever had an issue and you nicked yourself while you were taking care of the below-the-waist grooming, I'm going to tell you now, Manscaped has got the tools to handle that job, man. You got to use the right tool for the job, especially a job as precious as this.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CULT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code CULT. Unlock your confidence. Always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Anyway, so we got this is the Lucifer Observatory, correct?
Yes,
You
that's the
said
one
that's-
in Arizona.
Arizona. Damn, I didn't know that was in Arizona.
Mhm.
Huh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's because in the desert you have the best, the least amount of light pollution.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Because like
yes.
aside from like Phoenix
Oh.
or like Tucson or like one of the bigger cities, which are even in that environment, you're still in the middle of the fucking desert.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean? So you're up
It's-
in the mountains or in the desert like this, where clear skies, you could see everything.
Dude, I drove whenever I went out to vacation. My dad, so we flew into Vegas, and then my dad, because it's the airport to Vegas is closer to Lake Havasu where my family lives.
Yeah.
So my dad drove out to Vegas, and so I laid in the back of his truck just looking up at the night sky the whole time.
Yeah, man.
Dude, that's one of the coolest experiences you could have. Yeah, it's 4 hours, and it goes from really hot to really cold. Weirdly enough,
You ain't lying, dude.
it's
The
so
desert will
weird.
drop.
it's so weird.
Every day it's so hot you could go outside and cook on the sunlight, and every night you better grab your fucking parka.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't understand how people like live there and just adapt to that massive change every day. It's
Such
wild.
weird pockets. But anyway, that's the most amount of stars that like my naked eye has ever seen. And I've worked offshore.
Yeah, man.
Like I've been out literally in the middle of the fucking Gulf of Mexico. Didn't see that many stars as
Yeah.
in the desert. It's crazy.
It is because also an altitude thing too, man. The air is thinner over there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think it has a lot of different things that play into it. Plus, you're on the water, humidity's in the air naturally.
yeah.
The desert is no, you know what I'm saying?
True.
So
True.
anyway, yeah. So I did know that was in Arizona. I want to go check it out one day. But and it doesn't matter that the Catholic Church owns it and all of that. That's cool. But why in the hell would you name it the Lucifer?
Right.
I don't get it, dude.
Do you realize that would be like Batman
it's an ac-
naming his car the Joker?
It's an acronym actually.
Huh?
It's an acronym, Lucifer.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Isn't that crazy?
Of all of the acronyms you could have chose, you could have changed any letter to make it another word. But yeah sure. Okay.
Anyhow, all right. So damn, this thing is freaking massive, dude.
Yeah, it is the biggest telescope on Earth.
I wonder
Or the
why do
most
they
powerful, I believe.
why do they make it to where it's like binocular style? Who has a head big enough to look into there? You know what I'm saying? Can you see this like from far away or something?
I don't know, honestly. I would think like, and this is super pragmatic of me, and I'm sure I'm completely wrong on this, but maybe if like you have to make repairs on one side, you didn't lose focus on whatever you were looking at, and you
Maybe.
can get it back up and running before you make repairs on the other. It's like a redundancy system. Again, that might just be my industry brain thinking that there may be a more giant solution. I don't know.
Quite literally, possibly giants looking through there.
You know what I mean?
Who knows? All right. Yeah, I think that was. Oh no, you got one more picture.
This
All
is-
right, let's see this one of
Whoa.
Necropolis.
So yeah, that's the only picture I could find of the blueprints of the necropolis. If you see the room highlighted in red, that's where the skull with the horns was located.
Okay. Every Easter,
Um,
the Pope invokes Satan, Lucifer here.
Huh.
The
Yeah.
Mausoleum U, the Vatican room for Lucifer.
That's the rumor that goes with that. Yeah.
I wonder how people know this. Has there been like whistleblowers within the Vatican?
No, but probably people that like peeled off from their tour group and like recorded everything to see, what they could see before they got caught.
Yeah, that's possible.
But that's the thing too. We have no photo or video evidence, so it's just like first person account.
Depiction of Lucifer, that is Lightbearer, the morning star. On the opposite wall, there is a drawing of Vesper, the evening star, cosmic symbols of the human life cycle. Whoa, dude. Why does the Vatican gotta have the creepiest shit?
I guess it just kind of goes with the whole, gothic vibe.
And why is it called Necropolis? Am I weird in thinking like of necromancy?
No. Necro meaning dead, and Acropolis
Uh-huh.
meaning like city.
Yeah,
it's
like
more like-
catacombs.
Catacombs, the city of the dead.
Okay.
So there's like whole pathways and whole rooms, and it's like a legitimate city unto itself, but for the dead. They did this in Paris. That's where I think this the biggest catacombs have been found, where the gypsies took refuge in what they called the Court of Miracles, and that was in Notre Dame. They showed that a little bit, but it was like a full-on city and maze in there, full of just skulls and skeletons and remains of people because they ran out of space to bury people, so they just decided to go deeper and do it that way.
And that's why there's
Have you ever
tunnels
played
under there.
Skyrim?
No.
I have not, but I know a lot about
No.
the game because of friends.
Okay. Well, if any of your viewers have ever played Skyrim, they'll have a pretty good idea of what a catacomb is then.
Yeah,
Okay.
or if you've ever seen the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Don't
Yeah.
It's
But-
been a minute since I've seen that.
Dude, and I was so pissed that I went to Paris and did not get to go check that out.
The fucking Hunchback, man.
No, I saw Notre Dame, and I actually feel extremely blessed that I was able to see Notre Dame and sit in on a mass there,
R.I.P.
right before it burned.
Yeah.
Because now
which is prophecy, I believe.
I'm sure there's been a prophecy about that church getting burned down by somebody, but of course it was done because of an electrical fire. Like, really?
Yeah, and it like burned down the same way the Twin Towers did.
All the bombings in World War II didn't take that bitch down,
Yeah.
but an electrical fire from an extension cord, for real, bruh. But anyway,
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Anyway, all
Moving
right,
on.
Stu. Let's see what else we
Yeah.
got, dude.
Okay, so like the two last things that I have to touch on is the Vatican Library and then the secret archives, which are right next to each other. So the Vatican Library was created in 1945 by Pope Nicholas V. So that would include some manuscripts, some books dated like before the 1500s. They've got tens of thousands from the 16th and the 17th century. They got other coins, medals, plaques, stamps, inscriptions, carvings, sculptures, and art, and all that in the library. And that is more of a public library. It's not like anybody can go in there. You still have to request to go in there, but you are allowed to go in there and browse through what they have. So I guess getting on to like the main part of this video here, the secret archive. I guess the main reason that I did the research on the Vatican, right? So it's known in Latin, I hope I don't mess this out, as the Archivium Secretum Apostolicum Vaticanum. I feel like I messed that up.
No, it sounded
so
good.
the secretum part is actually more of private or personal is what it was meant. So people say secret. I mean, private and personal is still pretty. Like that's my own secrets are private and personal. So there's not much difference. So it was changed to the Apostolic Archive in 2019, and apostolic means belonging to the Pope. So again, personal, private, secret, right? It doesn't matter what you change the word; it's still the same thing.
Yeah, they call themselves the Apostolic Church whenever they're doing their prayers. As a matter of fact, one of them they say is we believe in one holy and apostolic church. We acknowledge one baptism for forgiveness of sins. We look for the resurrection and the light of the world to come. Amen. It's like a prayer they do at Mass every Sunday. That's a section of it.
Okay.
So yeah, they call themselves the Apostolic Church.
The archive was created in 1612 by Pope Paul V, and about 100 years later, there was select documents were made public for a limited time, and these documents were said to have contained knowledge of mankind's origins. So they were kind of like, oh, we have this secret archive. We'll let you, commoners see a little bit of what we have, and then now it's all locked up for good.
Yeah.
So the first time that researchers were allowed to get in there was in 1881, and it is not easy to get in there at all. You need some special qualifications, so like a certain college or university, and not just anyone. They do an extensive background check. You're granted admission, like an admission card, I guess, or credentials that you need to renew every 6 months. It can be revoked at any time. So if you get a book, right, and you learn something that they don't want you to learn, they'll revoke your credentials right away on the spot.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course it's very poorly cataloged. They have books in there that they don't even know, and you have to be extremely specific. You can't just be like, oh, I'd like to go and see the letter to the Pope Paul V by Queen Mary. It's like, no, you got to, like, which one? Like, you can't just go. And so when you do get permission, you're allowed 3 books a day. You're guarded by 2 priests and 2 guards the whole way through. So there's no meandering, seeing what's around and maybe checking out a different book while you're there. So up to 6 people are allowed in per day. And I believe you're allowed up to 4 hours while you're in there. It's a little unclear on some of this. So in the secret archive, they do have 4 study rooms where they invite about 1,500 scholars per year. They give them select novels or folders, books, whatever to go through. In these 4 study rooms, they have one for going through documents, 2 rooms to discuss and view digital copies of all the documents, and then the 4th room is for consulting, inventory, and use of other research tools. So that's what they use the 4 rooms in the Vatican for. So now, things that are inside the vault, right? Of course, most of this is just rumors, unless it's been something that's been actually checked out, right? And there's not too many things that have been checked out. So inside there, you have the excommunication of Martin Luther, notes from the trial against Galileo, minutes of the trial against the Knights of Templar from 1307, which is a 60-meter scroll.
I would very much like to look at that scroll because of who I am.
Yes.
Because they actually just got exonerated of all wrongdoings by this current pope a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah. He actually acknowledged that it was all bullshit. The confessions were at the behest of torture, and they were killed afterwards anyway, and the Catholic Church went after them for no reason.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not for no reason. It's because they owed them lots of money and had no way of paying it back.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is that the charges that they brought against them were of blasphemy and of homosexuality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The reason why they went after him was actually for the money. No doubt. That's been confirmed. But the initial charge that were brought up that drug the Knights Templar through the mud, they were exonerated of that within the last decade.
Well, good for them.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah. So you have the letter from Michelangelo to Pope Julius II, Henry VIII's request for annulment of his marriage, which he was denied. He then created his own sect of the church so that he could get divorced, which I thought was pretty like he's like, fuck this, I'm going to do it either way. They
Right.
didn't like that too much.
Nice.
Yeah, and that now we have the Anglican Church, which is what that church is now. Is the Church of England.
Huh.
Yeah,
Oh, because he wanted to just leave his wife. dude.
because he wanted a divorce. He wanted to marry someone else, so he did that 4 times.
I wonder what she did.
I'm
I'm assuming she did something, but
You know, they made a
believe he
TV
had
show.
a new
about it.
mistress.
so it was his.
He
wrongdoing.
fell for the mistress, and then fell for the mistress, and then fell for the maid of the mistress. Yeah, there's a whole show on him. It's called The Tudors. I highly recommend it.
Oh.
It's a very well put together show, and it perfectly goes through the historical truth of it all.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
He was a beast.
So they have the true name of God written somewhere in there, apparently. Which I wrote down. There's 42 of them. I don't know if that's just rumors or not, but there's 42 names of God. Proof of extraterrestrial existence. Even the devil himself is said to live down there.
Whoa.
There's
okay.
yeah, right. There's paintings of the real Jesus. Also Jesus's cross and the crown of thorns that he wore are down there.
Whoa.
Of course, this is all rumors. This is right. There's no way of really proving this. There's even a potential Ark of Covenant, Holy Grail, because nobody knows where they are, right? Of course, they have the writings of the true origins of mankind, and the Grand Grimoire, which I think is kind of neat, actually. It was written in the 16th century by Honorius of Thebes. He was claimed to be possessed by the devil himself while he wrote this book.
This is the demonic Bible, correct?
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It teaches you how to summon demons and the devil, and then how to smite the devil and make a deal with him.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, this book is basically the I'm not gonna. It's called the demonic Bible, but it's not actually like a Bible. Apparently, old boy was possessed and wrote down what he learned in this possession. And he had pictures. That was like the first time that the devil actually was ever portrayed with horns. Was off of his depiction.
Is this like those? This is what those 10 Commandments of the devil are in, or some shit?
No, not necessarily. That's more just like people going anti-biblical and making 10 anti-commandments, so to speak.
Right.
But
Which,
no,
oddly enough, the 10 anti-commandments or whatever they're called, they all seem logical.
well, but the 10 commandments seem even more logical. Don't kill nobody. Don't lie. Don't steal.
Listen to your parents and shit.
Listen to your parents.
Yeah.
Don't fuck your homie's wife. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty basic shit to live by. You would think.
It literally says in the Bible, "Don't fuck your homie's wife."
Well, that's my my subreddit. My apologies to all my good Christian people out there. I'm sorry that I have a foul mouth, but it's a part of who I am. But anyway, but no, my point is though, this was a real, and it's still used to this day by people who are like Satanists, who are like true Satanists. They use this to learn how to draw the sigils and summon demons and stuff like that. It's what Aleister Crowley used in his works and in his evil works. You know,
with the Kabbalah and shit.
The Kabbalah as well, but this isn't the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is the oldest form of witchcraft. This is pretty much like demonology 101.
Huh.
Specifically demonology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting that you bring up demonology, wouldn't you say, Stu?
Yeah. That's why
well,
actually I kind of found this book in particular to be interesting. It almost felt like I had visited this book in a past life.
Exactly.
One way or another.
Yes. Well, let's go into that real quick. Let's go into that, dude.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So Stuart happened to be very interested in hypnotherapy and visiting a past life.
Yeah.
And so, I put him under hypnosis. He went to a past life and he saw some things that sparked his curiosity about this whole Vatican shit, about this library, specifically the demonology section.
Yep.
And if you would, go down a couple of details, what you experienced in there, man.
Yeah, so in this life, I had visited the archives whether they were the ones that were created in 1612 or the ones that were before then, I can't really tell you. But I know that I did come across a book in there that it felt very heavy, very big, and it did tell me on how I could summon the devil, how I could talk to him, and it even described to me what the devil was and how he would try and trick me. So as soon as I found out about the Grand Grimoire, I had to learn a little bit more about it. And unfortunately, nobody's been able to, let's say, access that from the vault since it's been in there. So I found a lot of dead end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, probably even the people that have gotten in there, it's probably all undocumented stuff, you know, like, or maybe they just never escaped. Maybe they were one of the 400,000. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's possible. I mean, I imagine that if you get caught down in there when you're not supposed to be,
Oh, you're just gonna be dead.
you're done.
Yeah.
They're doing ritual sacrifices on you.
Yeah.
They're drinking you out of the fucking Holy Grail, bro. That's just what's going to
Jesus.
happen. They will materialize, or not materialize, dematerialize your whole body and drink you as a liquid. That's just how they roll in the Vatican, bro. I don't know if that's how they roll. They probably
Blood
do.
smoothie.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Probably wouldn't. Yeah, wouldn't be super surprised.
No, not even.
Anyhow.
Yeah, so I guess one of the main things I took from my past life is that in this archive, there would be books that would benefit mankind greatly. I'm not talking about the Grand Grimoire. I'm talking about more on the lighter side of books, like spiritual books, maybe closer to the Buddhism side of things, or you know, teaching people about chakras and how to contact your higher self and how to do things properly and protect yourself. Because there's no doubt in my mind that they have books like that in there as well.
Oh, dude, for sure they would.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're you know, like I said earlier, they were kind of the government before the government. And
Yeah.
so if you want to rule over all people and you stumble across some knowledge that, you know, might enlighten everybody, they're
Yeah.
not going to follow your fucking rules.
Oh no, they put Galileo on house arrest for claiming that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, no, this is not what the Catholic Church did. They didn't do tolerance with new ideas. But at the same time, I could also see them putting that in the archives, especially if it had something with merit. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine, realistically, the Pope hears of some things going on in this faraway place called Tibet, and these monks are able to chant a little bit and they start floating.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the Pope do? He sends one of his boys, right, on a missions trip, quote unquote,
Yeah.
to go investigate and see what the fuck this is about. That priest would do all of his digging, all of his research, all of the everything. And if he ever found that there was any kind of validation to this or there was some truth to what's really going on here, of course he would bring that information back to the Pope, right?
Yes.
And then the Pope would decide what to do with it. And of course, if it's anything with validation that goes against their immediate beliefs of having the people under control, oh, we're going to archive that.
Yeah. No astral traveling for you.
No, right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, that's just, it's so unfortunate that we live this way. Like, I feel like if all of the people, if we all got our hands on some kind of information that would enlighten us all in one way or another, do you really think that the majority of people or even a tiny minority of people would abuse it in some way? Do you think that? Or if you're being enlightened, what do you need? There's nothing to gain. You're already there.
But that's the deal. Enlightened people are not obedient slaves, man.
This is true.
They need obedient slaves.
Yes.
And that's the deal. Even all the way back to the Catholic Church's inception, right? You want your people to follow your rules. That's why there's a symbolism to every part of a mass. That's why you kneel at certain parts. That's why you pray in certain ways at certain parts of the mass. That's why they do the tithes and offerings at a certain time. That's why they do the taking of the communion at a certain time. They do that all in a specific order, in a specific way to keep people in their lane.
Dude,
You know
it's
what I'm
very,
saying?
very ritualistic. And that's
Exactly.
why, like,
It's a control tactic.
dude, whenever you go to school, it's the same exact setup as a prison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They put you in formation. You're eating in like the same kind of cafeteria. You're eating probably most of the same bullshit that they're eating in there. I mean,
Yeah.
now
I think prison's kind of worse.
I personally enjoyed school lunch personally.
Well, maybe up
Um,
in Pennsylvania they gave a fuck about
We ate
students.
some
They
good
don't care
shit.
about shit in Louisiana.
Yeah, it wasn't until I moved to Louisiana we started drinking chocolate milk out of fucking bags. I was like,
you
what
didn't have
is
bags
this?
up north?
No, we had cartons, bro.
Oh, must have been nice.
Yeah.
With your rich white people cartons.
It
Nah,
was.
dude, we had a plastic pouch
Yeah.
that you had to bite the corner off of and set it up in a certain way to where it don't drain all over your shit.
I mean,
Nah,
how
dude. Welcome,
animalistic.
welcome to the swamp, dude.
Yeah, for real, dude. It was a straight up sack that you had to drink from.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
Yeah, that's like jail.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the South's public education.
And so that really kind of relays into how the church wants to keep its people in line.
Exactly.
And so yeah, it's awesome
yeah.
that you uncovered a lot of this stuff, Stu, and I'm so happy that it sparked your curiosity through a hypnotherapy session with me. That was such a cool thing. Like I always say with the hypnotherapy stuff, like I enjoy that because like I'm getting him to describe all these cool things and it's like I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm seeing a brand new movie every single time. And Stu, I mean, we've done 2 sessions already and they've both been fucking awesome, dude.
And see, inspiration to dig deeper can
Yeah,
come
it
from
was.
anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in this case, it came from a hypno session, and now your boy is doing more and more digging on the Vatican
Yes.
and peeling back layers of things that he would have never looked at if this didn't happen.
Probably not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a
Yeah.
TV show you watch. Maybe you watch the Da Vinci Code one too many times. You actually start digging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it could be the same thing if Freemasons. It could be the same thing with Ordo Templi Orientis or Thelema or any of these other secret cult-like organizations with all these secret layers to pull back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Inspiration to dig deeper on that. Follow that feeling. Dig deeper.
No
Report your findings. That's how information gets spread. That's how enlightenment really happens.
Yes. And we're so happy that you came on and you share. Dude, you did so much research on this. I'm super happy you did. I mean, you did a freaking awesome job describing all this. And like you said, like you're no expert on this. This is built out of genuine curiosity.
Right.
And so yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, great shit, Stuart. Love it.
Fuck yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they're rumored to have the original copy of the Bible in there, which I would see too. Like you mentioned controlling people, right? So if the original Bible had aliens or something in it, and they don't want us to know something like that, of course they're going to change it. Like I have it's called the New World Translation. I have sitting on my shelf here. Like what honestly, what does that mean? The New World Translation of the Holy Bible, right? Like I had to stop and think about that for a second the other day when I seen it. Like, so basically they're telling me how they want me to be in the new world by that Bible, right? That's how they've translated it to be. So it's definitely not the real thing. Yeah, so there's even rumors of the chronovisor in there. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but it was developed in the 1950s. And you're through that, it's like a little device with a small screen on it, and it views electromagnetic radiation either from future or past events. So essentially allowing you to see into the past or the future with that device.
Whoa.
I've heard of this because Kronos was the Greek god of time.
He ate all of his kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Look
Saturn
at you-
episode.
Look at you knowing shit.
Shit, yeah, dude.
Yeah. I'll be damn. You okay? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We did a whole fucking episode on that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So I've heard that device exists. I don't know any more about it. Like that's all I've heard is that this device. I haven't looked at how it works. I haven't looked at who developed it. I nothing about that. But apparently, this device is in the vault of the Vatican.
Yeah.
You would think that if they had that kind of technology on them, that they would still have a massive power over the world like they used to.
Or is this a part of their plan?
Waiting until technology falls itself.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be that way. I mean, I kind of think that we're probably coming up on some kind of
I feel like
apocalyptic event.
I do. I really feel like if I had the ability to see into the future, right?
Yeah.
and you would think that you would stop big cataclysms from happening, or you would bet all of your money into a certain stock or some shit like that. You like have the theory that you would do that, but I feel like if you really were able to see into the future, like to the end, you would learn that things have to play out in a certain way in order for things to end the way they need to end. So you would pretty much just like be forced to like ride it out.
Makes sense. I mean, I could definitely see that.
I know that's kind of cynical, and I know that's like some real theoretical shit right there. But at the same time, like, all right, you would think if you could go back in time, right, you would stop 9/11, or you would kill Hitler as a baby, or something. Like, you have the theory that you would actually do that. But then if you also had the ability to see into the future, you would see that how those effects chain affect everything else off of it. And I feel like everybody in that situation would probably just be like, yep, this has got to just kind of be the way it is.
Almost like it's inevitable anyway.
Basically that the universe is going to unfold the way that it's supposed to, regardless if we try to intervene or not.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Strange finding one out of...
I've been watching a lot of Rick and
How
Morty
many?
lately. I'm going to be real with you.
Hey, dude.
I'm on some, yeah.
Not mad at it. I love me some Rick and Morty.
I do.
Even though the director, producer, or some shit, he's a pedophile. But and
Is he?
That's why they haven't brought it back.
No.
Yeah, dude. He did a whole thing on it was like on HBO or Showtime or some shit like that. It was like a skit. And it was like he was sending in what is it called? Like the promo to their new show. The pilot. He was sending in a pilot, and dude, it was all about like it was like this it was like a football coach or a soccer coach or some shit following his little player home. And like, dude, it was I don't even want to get detailed with it.
Wait, he was trying to launch that as a show?
Yeah. It was very, very, it was like a relationship that he was trying to have with like his student. This kid was like
what the fuck?
8 or something like that.
I didn't hear about any of this.
Yeah, dude, I got to show you that shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's why I don't really fuck with it anymore.
Damn it.
unfortunately. I know.
I love that show. You just ruined it for me.
I'm sorry. The dude's a fucking pedophile, dude. Got to call it out.
Oh,
Got to call it out.
I have to do some more research on that.
Yeah.
God
Like
damn.
Adam Sandler is my favorite actor of all time, but if I heard he was a pedophile, I would never watch Big Daddy ever again.
I hate Adam Sandler anyway, so if he came out to be a pedophile, I'd be like, yep, could have called that.
Damn, dude. Don't do him like that.
I'm sorry. I just watched a movie with him in it today. I'm just kind of over him.
I love him. Anyhow, continue, Stuart. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. You guys are good. So there's even the Seal of Solomon in there, which is a brass and iron ring. It's said to be able to summon, control angels, demons, and even be able to speak with animals.
So the Freemasons base a lot of their shit off of the teachings of Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Solomon, who is also known for building the temple, right, also lost his fucking mind
Yeah.
at the end of his life.
Yeah, he did.
And went into insane rants. And it was pretty fucking horrible, to be honest with you. But from that is where the thought of sacred geometry comes from. That's where the thought of other gods, demons, sacred knowledge, all of that comes from his basic lunatic rants at the end of his life.
Might have been tripping on shrooms.
Dude, could be. I'm not going to negate that that's a possibility. Or he was an old man who had violent dementia and wrote shit down, and people were like funding cults off of it.
I don't know, dude. I love all that sacred geometry stuff. I definitely wouldn't call it bullshit. I mean, sacred geometry is like, it's everywhere, dude. It's fucking everywhere. That's like, if you look at
Our world is made up of numbers.
it
Really
the
is.
pyramids, the fucking stones, all that shit, like, it's all some form of sacred geometry.
But at the same time, I've never heard of someone using sacred geometry for a benevolent use. I've only ever heard of it being used in a demonic or dark way.
That's a good point.
If
a good point.
there is somebody out there using sacred geometry to better mankind, please hit us up. I would love to discuss this with you. But it's kind of the same concept as like, I've never heard of someone doing blood magic for benevolent purposes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Back to Machine Gun Kelly. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, there are certain things that, like, I understand intent is a big portion of it, but if it never gets used for a good reason, maybe it's just bad.
It's probably bad, dude. It's probably bad.
You know. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, actually, at one point during King Solomon's reign, because of his ring and, messing around with demons and whatever, one shapeshifter actually turned into him, like, the shape of King Solomon. And for 40 days, King Solomon was actually outcast from his castle, and he's just kind of wandering around the streets. The story goes that he pissed off God. It wasn't actually him. It was one of his wives was committing idolatry. She was praying to some pagan gods or whatever. So that pissed off God. And because, King Solomon was in charge of her, he was the one who was, punished. So on the 40th day, the demon or the shapeshifter fell into the river or something, got eaten by a trout, and a fisherman found the ring inside of the belly of the fish and gave it back to King Solomon. He put it back on and it went back to being king again. So I thought that was kind of funny.
it is because 40 is also a very significant number, biblically speaking.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is.
So hold on. This dude fucking shapeshifted
Yeah, demons
into
are shapeshifters.
King Solomon.
Yeah.
Got swallowed up by a trout, and a fisherman found the ring and gave it back to the real King Solomon.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's an insane story. I hope it's right.
Yeah, because he was punished for 40 days by God. So on the 40th day, the ring was returned to him.
Yeah. That's on some Lord of the Rings type